too long ago.
Hello, everyone. Again, we just recorded a
45-minute podcast
in like the Sahara fucking desert.
in the blazing sun. We're on the deck, and it's we're closer to the sun, so it's even hotter.
We were getting attacked by bugs.
Getting attacked by bugs, and the audio didn't record.
Yeah, because
So-
the OBS input, whatever.
Real quick, we're gonna get the promos out of the way now, and then we'll talk for a little bit.
John, who's playing on Friday?
Friday night, Haha Charade and Bees are playing at Silk City, which is at 4th and Spring Garden.
4th and Spring Garden.
Philadelphia. We gave them both probably 3-minute apiece promos about how great they are live. They're both great live. I have sun poison.
John, it's actually
So let me just let you know, they're both incredible live. They both have incredible music. I compared Bees to if Radiohead condensed their greatness into 2-minute songs, which is all you actually need.
Ha Charade, Arctic Monkeys.
Charade, Arctic Monkeys, Kings of
Leon.
Leon.
All great indie
Both
bands we
incredible.
love.
You don't want to follow them when you're playing with them. We've played with both of them. We never had to follow Haha. We followed Bees before. It's brutal because everyone expects greatness after you hear them. We're lucky that we didn't have to follow Haha. Both are incredible. Shout out to Bees and Haha. Please go see them if you're free on Friday. We wish we could be there. We got surprised. I got surprised birthday tickets to Noel Gallagher, and there's 5 or 6 people from our family going all together. So I couldn't. We can't go. But if it was any other night, you would see us there singing along. Probably getting a little too rowdy. So go see them.
Probably
Silk
dancing.
City. They're both great.
Now on to
Our the sponsor of the pod, League Island Brewing Club, Jesus' favorite beer. Go. YouTube has the link.
Google. You can make a Google. And don't forget, also, if you are a Jesuit or a returning member of anything you're returning from, you're also allowed to have League Island Brewing Club.
You know, Buddha once said, I need to take a nap under this tree because I drank way too much League Island Brewing Club.
He was actually misquoted. You know what Buddha actually said? How the fuck did I get under this tree? Oh my god, that League Island Brewing Club was so good. I've been under this tree for 20 years and didn't even realize.
I didn't even
realize. I accidentally started the world's 3rd most popular religion because I had a sip.
If you want to achieve enlightenment, League Island, I'm dehydrated.
I know.
League Island Brewing Club.
I'm dehydrated. John, pick out a book. Let's see what
These are our grandfather's books.
Cooking course number 10 has to say. Page.
Let's not forget.
Broiled oysters.
Let's not forget, Matthew. This is not just a YouTube podcast anymore. We're actually on Spotify.
Apple Podcasts.
No, very close, but not.
Motherfucker!
Anywhere, Deezer, anywhere you can listen to podcasts, we're at. Besides
Apple
stupid
Podcasts.
Apple, they take forever to submit, but when we are on there, we'll let you know. Go listen to us everywhere, please. We really appreciate it.
Fucking Tim Apple, damn it! I knew it was going to be Tim Apple that was going to hold us up.
Talk to the people first. I need a shot of water.
So, what I got to tell you guys is Drinkin In Work's out everywhere. So go listen to Drinkin In Work wherever you have music available to you. Go listen to Drinkin In Work. I don't know if I should say go drink and work. We also filmed about probably 20 minutes of stories of John talking about him drinking and work. It's probably a good thing that those things will never get out. But they did happen. They do exist. And people are doing it everywhere, whether it's right or wrong. So if you are going to do it or not going to do it, if you want to feel like you're doing it, even if you're not doing it, go listen to Drinkin In Work. It will change your life, if only for a second. I think John's almost yes, you can. First he wants a sip of water, then he wants a piece of gum. Is there anything that this guy doesn't want, John? There's so many takers in the world, John. There's so many in a world of takers, John. Be a giver. Okay? So next time you come over, I expect at least a stick of gum and a 1 ounce
Of water.
cup of water. I mean, what are we doing here? What am I running here?
So I did talk 20 minutes about how I used to drink and work. I did have a lot of fun drinking and work. Multiple jobs, multiple positions.
multiple
drinks, multiple ways I drank. Countless employees drinking with me.
Countless.
I wasn't the one who invented it, but I perfected it.
Countless.
But so when you listen to Drinkin' and Work, which is your homework assignment, you'll know that it's the truth. Nothing we put out is far from the truth. Sometimes exaggerated.
We're a bit.
I'm not actually Don Draper, but
But you know what, John? You know what? Let me say. If you really think about it, no one's really Don Draper.
Yeah. Don
You're
Draper
as
got
much.
blown up.
You're as much of. No, well, he doesn't exist. He's a fictional character. So you're as much as Don Draper. I'm sorry, I just got a text message. I got to put my focus on, and I just put it on Do Not Disturb.
There you go.
You're as much Don Draper as Don Draper is Don Draper because he's not real. So if you want to be Don Draper, you can be Don Draper.
And if yous want to be Don Draper,
if you don't, you
go listen to Drinkin' and Work.
Whoa. That's rude to point.
I'm sorry. If yous want to listen to Drinkin' and Work.
No. Got a thumb.
If yous want to go listen to Drinkin' and Work. You know, our grandmother points like this. Did you ever notice that? She'll point with her middle finger.
I point with my ring finger.
I like to get, if I got a point, I get my toes out.
I have a friend named Jim, and to get his attention the other day, instinctively, I poked at him like that with my pinky, like that.
Very fancy.
And then I realized that is not. Why did I just do that? And I realized it's because class comes from within. Who you are as a person comes from within. And there's nothing that you could do about it. There's nothing you could change. We're just getting calls. We're getting texts. You know why? Because we're so popular. That's why. We're the most popular duo ever. And we're so popular and ubiquitous that... do I even need to explain it? You know how we got there? It's because we have great books behind us like paint and wallpaper, floors and stairways, repairing appliances. These are all valuable books that you need to know. We also have containers full of things that we haven't used for years, too. Just like all people.
Sorry about that.
I didn't do... So I had... If anyone
This
listens
is a
to
mess of
Monday...
a podcast.
This is a mess. That's because we filmed one already.
We filmed the podcast.
We already did one.
And the shit didn't work.
Listen, there's a bit of user error involved. We should have known that, the audio source and all that stuff. But at the same time, why has tech not...
Oh shit, that did Do Not Disturb.
Got through the Do Not Disturb!
How'd that happen?
Oh my god. That's because that was my boss that texted me.
This is going off the rails.
This podcast is going crazy. Everything's going crazy.
Matthew, you had some homework.
I had homework, and I probably get a F plus.
And I'd give him a D minus.
A D minus, because I didn't listen to all the songs.
Ain't it weird that there's no E?
You know why, John? Because if I was a teacher and I gave someone an E, to me that would mean empty inside. Your test score was so bad that I feel empty inside. I'm not even I'm so upset by it, I'm not even a person anymore. That's how I would take that if someone gave me an E.
I think A, B, C, I think they intentionally was like, let's grade by letters because they can't get below like whatever.
Yeah.
And then I think they got to D, and then they were like, E's a failure, but then they were like F. The letter F starts with failure.
So you know
the word failure starts with F. So let's just skip E and go right to F. I think that's what they tried to get.
Do you know how the education system was actually designed?
In Greece?
Capitalists. No, the American one. The one that we're in now, not the Greek one. Not that, not...
I thought you meant
what four philosophers from Greek history we remember that influenced the university? No, not those people.
Aristotle.
Yeah, well, not Aristotle. A bunch of capitalists during the Gilded Age got together that were at Cambridge and all these other elite universities. And they basically, in accordance with the public school systems at the time that were developing, they wrote the curriculum. And all the things that were based in school were basically designed to have younger people that are kids that are entering school get used to the types of schedules that they would experience in factory lines and all those types of things. So basically, the school system was designed to create good little capitalist workers. That's what the school system was designed.
Little honeybees.
Designed to do. So what you need to do to get out of that is you just need to go crazy. You need to go to your local college, scream at the top of your... This is all I'm encouraging everyone to do. Scream at the top of your lungs. Spin around in a circle with fireworks, setting them off, like that. Do this next time you go to school or you're near school, and encourage all your friends to do it too. Let's have everyone run around with active fireworks as much as possible.
In our grade school, there was no. We didn't get no A's or B's. It was numbers. It was 100%.
I feel like I'm delirious from the sun.
Yeah, you're screaming.
I feel like the sun's really getting to me.
Take a couple sips of that water. I feel better already.
Do you ever watch the movie Dune?
Listen, I graduated with a 72%
GPA.
average. I didn't get a GPA.
I get that.
I didn't go to college. And you know what? I'm glad I didn't go to college because I don't got no fucking debt. I got $200 on my credit card right now.
I got no debt.
And I just don't feel like pressing the buttons to pay it off. That's why it's just sitting there.
I got more debt than that, and I don't have the money to pay it off. Like every other American in the world.
Yeah.
You know,
and you didn't go to college either.
No, I didn't. You know, credit card debt is at an all-time high. And it's the worst time since the early 90s to buy a home.
Yeah.
Ain't that great? Ain't that great, everyone? And when people could buy homes in the 90s, they had more disposable income to buy it because healthcare, college, every other measurable asset that people would pay money for, adjusted for inflation, was cheaper on average.
Yeah.
So, fun fact.
Well, yeah, it's funny because it's only getting worse because when I bought a house last year, last summer,
yeah,
it was also the worst time in history to buy a house.
Yeah.
And now it's even worse.
It's getting worse. It's getting worse and worse.
My car just got totaled.
I feel great for like 5
a
years.
little bit ago. I think you were saying I feel great that your car got totaled.
I felt so happy when everything bad that happens to you. It makes me happier and happier.
My car got totaled, and it was appraised higher than what I bought it for. Why? Because everything's going up. The cost of like a used car that should be $5,000 is like $8,500 right now.
Yeah.
Everything is too expensive. It's fucking crazy.
I know.
You can't do anything.
And the funny thing is, like, I see all these pages on Twitter. Because I guess I'm a bit of a psycho and still go on Twitter. But really, at this point, it's just for fun. Like, it's just a fun little diversion. I wonder what Elon Musk... I wonder how he's ruining his credibility today.
Yeah.
At least with me.
What do you think of RFK?
I'm of two minds about RFK. So, his super PAC is the same super PAC that lots of other...
Democrats?
No, lots of other Republicans are actually a part of.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
But the thing is that a lot of what RFK is saying, I would say, like, if you listen... Like, I've listened to probably 4 or 5 between Biden, Marianne Williams, because I'm not a lot of the Republican candidates. I'm just like DeSantis is
it doesn't.
He's not a serious person in life in general. I would never vote for him. A lot of those people just don't fit my values. But like I've watched the Williamson campaign. I've watched Cornel West's. I watched several speeches from him. I've watched several speeches from Biden lately. I've watched several speeches from RFK and conversations. Like I listened to the whole Lex Friedman conversation with RFK. So I've listened to the guy. I've listened to the town hall that he did on News Nation, which very biased questions. And I think whoever his strategist is, a lot of the stuff that he goes into hard about vaccines, I don't know enough about to say he's wrong or the other side's right or wrong.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to say how I feel about that thing. But I feel like in a campaign, in a presidential campaign, there's so many issues that as a candidate, like Trump's greatest strength is controlling the narrative. And I feel like there's a lot of things that RFK is saying that are extremely important. Like, we shouldn't want to escalate the Ukrainian conflict. There's no reason to. There's no reason for NATO to have a proxy war with Russia right now. Russia's not a real threat to the United States. The United States doesn't have any real threats. We don't have any. China is the greatest one, but it's actually of our own doing because we've interwoven our economy with China for so long. So, like, if there's a Chinese depression, all of a sudden, we have a shortage in vehicles because our computer chips come from China, which is why one of the good things that Biden did was he upped American production of computer chips. That was one of his things because, I mean, it's a national security issue, is what it really is. For us to be able to control the supply chain of our own computer. But that's a whole different thing. Like, overall, I think a lot of what RFK is saying is great. I feel like if you are someone that's for peace, you really need to back it up with your language. You can't just go around, I'm for peace, and then you send cluster munitions to Ukraine. I'm very against the strategy and foreign policy of Ukraine right now. I'm very against the American foreign policy that has been of the past 25 years. We've had the same foreign policy since probably maybe Reagan took office. We've had the same consistent foreign policy, which a lot of it comes from the military-industrial complex, obviously. The last real ballsy president we had was probably Nixon. So to be able to see someone like RFK Jr. or even Williamson or Cornel West, I would say any of the independents and other Democrats that are running, a lot of them I look at as a breath of fresh air. I think he has credibility because he's a Kennedy. Yeah. That gives anyone instant credibility because they're a Kennedy. His uncle really was a former president that was assassinated by the CIA or Lee Harvey, whatever they want to dispute. They don't want to release. They don't or mob because there was the only real reason that JFK got elected was because his father had great mob connections. That was definitely a corrupt election on the Democratic side, but JFK was a 43-year-old president that was changing the country and the world with his policies and legitimately did avert the end of human civilization during the Cuban Missile Crisis. All of these things are forgotten because there is a machine in Washington that does want to convince people that real peace, is not the right option. Now, in 91, when the USSR collapsed, I mean, Russia for 10 years is in total shambles. There was no reason that we shouldn't have built a strong diplomatic relationship, which Bush tried to do when he got Putin in the White House and all that kind of stuff. But it's really gone south, and what you see is you just see a lot of money forces going, yes, we can make lots of money off cluster munitions. Let's donate to Biden's campaign. Let's get him reelected. So when I see things like that, it almost makes you overlook. Does RFK's stance on vaccines, is it 100% factually accurate? Is he going to end up damaging so many people? You almost overlook that because what you're given is shit. Like, we're given shit by Biden. Yeah. Like, as a young person that's ripe for a Democratic candidate to have me vote for them, because I consider myself a progressive or whatever that, independent thinker on a lot of things, but progressive policies definitely are attractive to me. When you see someone like Biden lie over and over and over again, or be so weak that he can't fulfill even the most basic campaign promise, you don't want to vote for him because he's like a Bush Republican almost, and he has been his whole life. Like, you could look at his voting record, you could look at what's actually happening if you want. It just requires a bit of critical thought, a bit of trying to really listen, trying to really use an independent mind, and not all the time going, oh, what NBC said must be right. What Dr. Fauci said must be right. With this person, but on the flip side, you have fucking absolute whack jobs like fucking Andrew Tate being interviewed by Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
And these guys, like Tucker, and the problem that JFK, RFK, rest in peace JFK. The problem with a guy like RFK is that he's talking with these guys, which is fine. I believe everyone should talk to everyone, regardless of how nuts they are. But when you have a glorification interview, 2 hour and 30-minute interview done by Tucker with a guy like Andrew
who's
Tate,
literally who's charged with
raping,
sexual trafficking,
sex trafficking of young girls all over Europe to do a fucking OnlyFans webcam scheme.
Yeah,
it's outlandish. People like that. I'm not saying I don't really believe in deplatforming.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I believe in, if you're going to conduct an interview, you need to have some level of objectivity.
Let Andrew Tate go on the Logan Paul podcast and not Tucker Carlson, who, whether or not, I mean, I don't listen to him. Yeah. But like, he's a guy that got kicked off of Fox and then started a successful Twitter thing. Yeah. And like, he does have, especially in the upcoming elections, I'd rather him have fucking DeSantis on, who, even though I fucking would never vote for in a million years, at least that shows, he's trying to get, because Tucker would probably press him on a couple things. I think now that he's not with Fox, but to have Andrew, I didn't listen to it. There's something about I didn't listen to it. I heard bits and pieces of it throughout today. Was it like a puff piece? It was basically like he kind of threw him a softball, like, hey, they said you raped and sex trafficked a bunch of women. Did you? Did you do it? Did you do that? Did you really do that? I didn't think so. I didn't think you did that. Now let's move on to what's really important. Yeah. What is and it's just like, what? Yeah. Are you kidding me? There's almost evidence for this. If not only none of these people from a standpoint of, if you met them in person, I'm just someone that tries to look at things objectively. If I met Andrew Tate in person, I'd want to fucking knock him out. Yeah. He's a fake. He's a fucking fraud. He's been banned, and his stupid brother they're balding fucking losers have been banned from the podcast since we started a ban list. They're on the original ban list. And he's a charlatan. That's how I look at them. They're fake. The same guy that tries to sell you a pill that will never work and will instantly make you lose weight and is a fake and a phony is the same way he tries to sell men, me and John's age, a fictionalized version of reality. So he's a liar, he's a fake, he's a fraud, and people like that should be exiled from public from public life, not because they're deplatformed, but because there's enough moralists in the country that can basically expose him for what he is, which is an abuser and a liar. Yeah. And I know this podcast is going on longer, but these are just things that I feel very passionate about in the modern world. And that's why I look at guys like RFK, Bobby Kennedy Jr., as someone who, if he is serious, he's got to stop. In my mind, he's got to figure out a way to rise above from being the conversations about misinformation, and I wouldn't even talk about vaccines. That would not even come across. But he wrote a book, The Real Dr. Fauci, which he says is properly cited and sourced, which I can't dispute. I didn't read the book. I didn't properly cite and source it. But at the same time, when I was getting all the information about COVID, I wasn't reading the studies behind it. Yeah. I know a lot of those studies that were about COVID were real, but his problem wasn't the facts about COVID. It was the vaccine science, and his problems was the public direction that these people took when they were explaining to the public how is this going on. So people are saying, oh, he's anti-vax. It's a little bit more dicey than that. I don't know if he's necessarily anti-vax, but then I also think, am I being spun? You know what I mean? But I hopefully am a critical enough thinker to be able to go,
that might be bullshit, but I agree with what he says about this. I agree with what he says about 90% of things. The vaccines may be a gray area for me.
I don't know if he's right about vaccines, but I don't think he thinks he's wrong and lying about it.
Yes, I agree.
Which is almost as important to me, because I'm triple vaxxed.
Yes, me too.
I get a flu shot when I remember. I get it every year. You know what I mean? I'm the last person that's anti-vax, but I don't care enough about forcing other people to take it.
No,
that
me neither.
Will make me judge him on just that. What he says about other things is what I listen about. Now I'm not voting for him. I'm either going to vote for West or Marianne Williamson, just because they're closer to
policy
Bernie.
wise.
Yeah,
Marianne's policies are even better than Bernie's.
RFK seems a bit. He seems a bit Republican-y, just in the with the super PAC stuff, and which I don't blame him, because you got to get money where.
Do you know if Marianne Williamson all crowdfunded? Did she have any super PACs?
I don't think anybody is, besides maybe Cornel West. I don't know.
Yeah, if we're talking about who legitimately might be the best candidate, it might be Cornel West.
I love Cornel West.
I love his policies. People were like, "Why are you going for the People's? Why are you going for the People's Party?" And he was like, "You guys are right. I need to go for the Green Party. That's a more accessible party." Like, he listened to people that were actually like, "I love Cornel West, but I can't vote for the People's Party."
Yeah.
And then he was like, "All right, so then I'll switch. I'll change." Like, I love that, and I'm not someone that I think idealism is very important. And I think moralism is very important. And I think if you're just looking at the world objectively, it's much better for us to have a president like RFK right now than it would be for a Biden. From the simple standpoint of how many Ukrainian kids and women and kids and Russian people that don't want to actually fight this war have to fight this war because of whatever sides on both sides are making money.
Yeah.
How many of these people need to die? How many people in World War II needed to die for us to not repeat the same mistakes?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, obviously, I'm not involved. I don't know. There's so many things about public conversation you don't know about that are actually going on, what the real reasons are. But all you got to do is look at history and saw what happened when the Nazis were invading Poland before we got in the war. Michelin was the ones that were making tires for them.
Yeah.
An American tire company is sending over tires to Germany. So they had to get sanctioned and fined by FDR to stop doing it. That's what capitalism is.
Can you imagine if we had an FDR right now? How cool would that be?
Oh my God. But the thing is that the system now is designed to neuter.
Yeah.
And to only people like Clinton or Biden, or, look at what Obama was and look at what he actually became.
Yeah.
Look at his campaign from 2007 and 2008.
It's so
but
crazy.
Even at the time, he wasn't an outspoken moralist at the time. He went along with what the mainstream was at the time. He wasn't in support of gay marriage in his initial presidential run.
Yeah.
So I look at people that have balls to say things sometimes that need to be said, that are some of the shit that RFK says he could get killed for.
About the CIA and all?
Well, not even just the CIA, but to have a dissenting peace-like view, it's very difficult because it's hard to have a view for peace and then you're immediately labeled as you're pro-Russian. Yeah. I think Putin is genuinely, I do think he's probably an evil dictator. Evil's such a relative term to whatever your situation is, but Russia's a huge oligarchy and he's in charge of it.
Yeah.
And they don't have great policies.
Sounds like a tyrant.
For their citizens either.
Yeah.
Does that mean that I feel like America should be over there helping us fight a war off for the Ukrainians? No.
Yeah.
Russia's economy is smaller than Spain's. The only reason we even consider Russia anything is because they have more nukes than us. That's the only reason. That's the only reason we could say, and because it's a great other for Raytheon and Boeing and all these other huge defense contractors to make money off of.
Yeah.
Which half of the military budget, more than half of the $400 billion that goes to anything in the military goes to defense contractors before it actually goes to the military. So the real Army budget is actually $400 billion. The other half, maybe 55% of it, goes to, because it's almost $900 billion. That's our military budget's almost $1 trillion a year. $1 trillion a year. We're spending more money than China, Russia, all those large countries combined.
Yeah.
The next 20 countries, we spend more on defense. We are NATO. We are the UN. That's how big our military is. And ridiculous. And that's why when you're driving up your street and it's really bumpy, or you go to the doctor's office and you get a bill in the mail and it's more money than it should be, it's because all the same people, it's like George Carlin said, it's a big fucking club and you're not in it.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. So when a guy like RFK says Big Pharma is a criminal enterprise, people that are hooked on fentanyl now because they got hooked on prescription drugs that they got kicked off of because they should have never been prescribed the amount that they were prescribed anyway, or all these kids that get hooked on all these extreme medications, like what is the Adderall
Xanax.
and like all Xanax and all these
Adderall.
crazy things that go on harder drugs like fentanyl and die.
Yeah.
And this illegal war on drugs that we've waged, so we could turn minority communities, especially in the 80s with the crack epidemic that was government created, into basically prison labor systems.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all. I mean, when you look at it that way, if you're looking at the country through a moral lens, which we have enough money to fix all these problems.
Yeah. There's still people in jail for weed offenses.
There's still people in jail for weed. It's the craziest thing. We have enough money to fix all these problems. The only reason we don't is because someone on TV your whole life has told you we can't do that. That's why. That's the reason. We could cut our military budget in half. We'd never have any problems. You know why? Because geographically, of any of the major countries, we have the best geographic setup. We got Mexico, and we got Canada. Both friendly nations. We have great trade as far as them wanting to go to war with us. We have great trade deals with them. It's not advantageous for them to go to war with us. For any other country to invade us, Canada would have to turn against us for Russia to have a land bridge over through Siberia, through Alaska. But that's why we have Alaska. That's why we bought Alaska. Because we were afraid of a Russian invasion in the 50s.
Really?
That's why Alaska's a state.
I didn't know that.
Yes, that's why Alaska's a state.
That's pretty cool.
Hawaii, you know why Hawaii's a state? Because we wanted to defend the Pacific.
Yeah.
That's why Hawaii's a state. That's why we annexed Hawaii. Because Hawaii was a U.S. territory in the 1800s.
This is crazy. I didn't know any.
Yeah, this is why things are. This is basically why things are. Manifest Destiny was basically, we need the whole country because we can't have an invasion from the Pacific. We can't have other countries come that way.
I don't know why. That kind of pumped me up a little bit.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Well, it's because this is when you go to school, you're told something that's not real.
Yeah.
No one's going to tell you in school Russia won World War II, but they did. You know how many Russian people died in World War II?
A lot?
Like fucking 30 million Russian men. Like insane numbers of people. An unimaginable amount of people. So many people died. Rivers turned to blood. So many bombs were dropped on cities that people were literally people's bones were melting into the street. People's bones were literally turned into lava and ash. That's how many bombs were dropped. It's like the craziest thing. And this is, people forget it because America, since the Civil War, we haven't had any war on our soil. And we've had free economic development. Free country. Our country has been able to develop free from any conflicts on our soil. So we're removed from it. So we operate with an entitlement that we really shouldn't have. It's all because we have a really good geography. It's just luck. So that's a lot of what it's from. So
I learned
so
much.
We'll see how things go in the Democratic primary. One thing I'll say before I get off my huge rant about all this is that it is criminal. Not actually criminal, but it is absolute injustice to the people that the DNC is
debates.
Not holding debates.
Yeah, it's a disgrace.
Because Biden is incapable of debating at this point.
Yeah.
People need to look at things sometimes not for just blah, 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 blah. Think about that as your grandfather.
Well, this is the crazy thing. When he first ran and he debated Trump the first time, he wasn't as bad as he was now, but he was bad. And everyone, our grandmother included, he has a stutter.
Yes.
Watch 2012. Him absolutely dismantle. It's only 10 years ago, 11 years ago. He dismantles Paul. What the fuck's his name?
Paul Ryan.
Paul Ryan. He dismantles him in a debate.
Destroyed him.
Rips him apart.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have dementia then. He has dementia.
He fumbled.
Now.
He was at the NATO conference.
He's an old man. He was fucking crazy.
He was at the NATO conference today, and he fumbled the amount of people that are in the NATO alliance. Now we're going to have 30. I'm at 32. 30? 32. It's more than just. Oh, he has a stammer.
Not a stutter.
Or he has a stutter.
It's not that.
It's something where it's like, no, he's aging,
Yeah.
and he's not as fast. And as a person, that's okay. But as the president, that's not acceptable.
Disgrace.
John, would you, if Joe Biden offered you a ride to back home today, you know, would you take it? No. I wouldn't take it.
No, our grandfather, who was, at least, he wasn't running the country, but he seemed mentally just as much there as Biden was. One time picked me up from
Great-grandfather.
Great-grandfather. One time picked me up from high school, pearl white Cadillac. Very cool gentleman he was.
With a lollipop.
He had a lollipop in his mouth, and he had his sunglasses on. All the windows were up. He's smoking a cigarette with me in the car. Windows are. I mean, I'm in high school, so it's not like I wasn't a child, but and then he almost ran over somebody. The guy literally like touches the hood of the car, and he's going, "What the fuck?" So Pop just drives around them very slowly, and then looks at me while he's driving, not paying attention. He takes the lollipop out and he goes, "Huh," and he put the lollipop back in, and he just kept driving.
That's what old people do.
He was Biden's age. He was like 83, 84.
Yeah, he was a couple years older. It's just one of those things where it's
Can't
like,
make it up.
It's just one of those things where it's like there is a factor of experience, but then there's and wisdom, but then there's a factor where when you're getting to the point where your family should probably be looking after you, or, you know, every single time he walks across the stage, the whole entire world is gasping, is nervous because he might fall, and they don't trust his physical abilities anymore. It's one of those things where it's like, can we all just logically admit that maybe he shouldn't be running the country right now?
He'll probably win the primary, and then he's going to have to go against Trump. Who Trump is just as old.
He's 2 years younger than him.
He
shouldn't be running either.
If Joe's your grandfather, Trump's the racist uncle.
Yeah.
And he's like in a debate. He's going to kill them. He's going to kill them.
I know. That's my fear
and the
too.
Policies, like there's no policy.
Anyone running. I'd rather have anyone run and debate Trump right now.
Anybody.
I'd
rather you debate Trump.
Me, I would wipe the floor. I would wipe the floor with Trump. My 26-year-old self would wipe the floor with him. But it's one of those things where, like, you just look at the world, and I feel like really it's probably people under 40 that are like, if you just kind of generalize under that gap. And if you look at the poll numbers that are already out, everyone wants an alternative to him.
Yeah.
Everyone. Because if you look at the other side, they don't care that Trump's a criminal, that likes to creep on his daughter, and likes to be, like they don't care. They don't care that he's as a person he's a piece of shit. No one cares.
DeSantis is literally just passed a law where there's like 7 driver's licenses that if you get pulled over with them in Florida, it's like criminalized.
Yeah.
Because they have different abortion.
Dude, their politics are fascist the way they display them. They're very authoritarian down there. Like Rick Scott's like,
they're worried about free speech.
Rick Scott's like, well, if you're LGBTQ plus, you're not allowed down, or if you're woke or whatever, you're not allowed in Florida. Like, what? You're not welcome here?
They're
kind of language
always
is that?
worried about people being deplatformed and like what's it called? Not terminated.
Canceled.
Canceled.
Terminated.
That's what they're worried.
I like that.
But
people being terminated.
If a girl's mother drives out of state to buy an abortion pill for her daughter and gives it to her, they're both going to get arrested.
That just came out today.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're both going to get arrested.
It's fucking crazy.
But they're worried about fucking what someone said on Rogan's podcast, and
Yeah.
or Roseanne Barr making a Holocaust joke, which was taken out of context.
Yes.
But her making a Holocaust joke, they're upset that she's getting canceled, and these women are they're being arrested for buying a fucking an over-the-counter like medical
It's
pill.
disgusting.
It's birth control.
How could you call yourself a libertarian or someone that's for freedom or bodily autonomy
And telling someone to do
then telling someone what to do with their body? Ever. If you're someone that doesn't like abortion, that's great.
Yeah,
Don't
get
have one. Don't get one.
Yeah.
But if you're
Good for
someone
you.
that believes that I should have the ability to legislate other people's freedom away from them, then you're just never going to be on my side. And this is definitely not the podcast for you, because we're for actual freedom. Like if you want to, like you should have control over your own body.
Yeah.
If I want to go to the gym and lift weights, I don't want someone telling me that I shouldn't be able to do that. And then the Democrats, they ran an article on one of the Democrat news outlets saying it was MSNBC, which is just another absolute trash outlet. They ran an article saying physical fitness was a prominent theme in Hitler's
Really?
Yeah, they ran an article like linking people that are like really pro physical fitness. Oh well, that's something that was on Hitler's platform. They tried to make that connection like very, very openly and very brazenly, and it was very stupid because it's like physical fitness should be ubiquitous. It should not be politicized ever. Instead of pointing out, wow, it was a big mistake when Hitler tried to politicize physical fitness as a part of his platform.
Yeah.
They're like, that's what Republicans are doing. Like, don't link that to a Republican thing, because then people are going to look at you like, oh, well, they must be the party of unhealthy people.
Yeah.
It's like such poor
I didn't know.
messaging.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's such poor messaging.
All right, before we go,
All people have to say, we want to give you health care. We want to give you taxpayer health care. We want to give you a little bit more money because we know it's really hard. We want to make it easier to buy a house for people. We want to be able to have people send their kids to daycare because two parents have to work because the economy's shit and you can't live off one income. So we want to make it affordable to send people to daycare. This is what people want. This is what everyone wants.
Yeah.
Democrat, Republican. This is what normal people want. All that other shit's just a distraction. People just want to be able to make a living and have good opportunities. That's what they want.
Yep.
That's why I look at Marianne Williamson and I'm like, oh yeah,
that makes sense.
she's saying that. Oh yeah, Cornel West, he's saying that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But Biden's saying, oh, we're going to cancel all the loan. Did I say we're going to cancel? I forgot.
We're going to up the loans.
You're going to have to start paying in October. Like you're never going to get young voters with that strategy. And then you're going to run on it again.
But the problem is that
This is how the fucking elections are lost. This is how a guy like Trump would win, is because these people are fucking idiots.
yeah, but they'd rather Trump win than someone who actually wants to change anything win. Because even Trump,
You're exactly right.
Trump, who is against, Trump is like the outlaw of the fucking whatever. He hired everybody from fucking Bush's campaign and fucking everyone that Mitt Romney was running with, and everyone that Pence
Rex
asked
Tillerson.
for.
The fucking head of an oil company.
Yeah, he's so full of shit. It's so clear that Trump just wants the accolades and just wants to.
He wants power so he doesn't go to jail, too.
That's what he wants. That's all he wants. It's a fucking huge publicity, well, for protection too now, but it's a huge publicity thing.
Yeah.
Look at me, I'm the president. Like,
I'm the most famous person in the world, bar none. It's the best. I have the best. Have you seen my daughter's ass and tits? They're the best.
All right, look, we gave Matthew homework. I learned a whole lot from that. I appreciate it. We have to get ready to finish the rest of our night.
Yes.
So, I told Matt to listen to 2 songs.
Oh, yeah.
Olivia Rodrigo, Vampire.
John told me to listen to 6 songs, and I listened to 2 of them.
Yeah.
So I
his grade is
33%. It's incomplete. So I listened to Vampire by Olivia Rodrigo. Here it is, right here. And I think you gave the song an 8.5.
I gave it a 7.5.
A 7.5. I give the song a 6.5. I don't think it's as good as Jean thought it was. But a lot of it, I think, had to do with the production. It was very breathy. It reminded me of all those cheap Channel 17, like CW shows, the way they mix their audio. It almost, you know what it sounds like? You know when Harry Potter learns he could talk to snakes?
Oh, yeah.
I forget what the language. Parcel tongue. It sounds like parcel tongue in the beginning, which is a bit distracting for me. But I did think it was a good song. It was well written, and it reminded me of kind of like a modern day Barry Manilow song, just by song structure. Give the song 6.5 out of 10. Good song, and I do like Olivia Rodrigo. I wouldn't call myself a fan of hers, but I do like her from time to time.
Yeah.
Ben,
she's not as famous, and she doesn't have a song as good as Bad Guy, but to me she's more listenable than Billie Eilish.
Yes, I agree.
There's a couple.
Good for You is a good song.
Yeah.
Good for you. Ba, 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 ba. I give that a 7.5.
The sad song that she has is good for what it is.
Yeah, I like her vocal delivery. Just ticks me off sometimes.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's just a pet peeve that I need to try to move past. I don't know if it's something I need to move past. Just what I listen for. Waylon Jennings. Are you sure?
A little bit of a different song.
Are you sure Hank done it this way? I gave this song an 8 out of 10. John gave it a 10 out of 10. I do feel like my rating may go up because he told me on our failed podcast, he told me like the story behind the song. I love 70s music. I love the way it sounds. I love the way this song sounded.
It feels like
he's
dollar bill.
He's right here.
Yeah.
This is how it feels. It feels like Waylon Jennings is right here. I really did like the song. It does sound like an old Strokes song. Like if they were an old country artist, like that's definitely the stuff they'd be putting out.
Yeah.
Way better than Albert Hammond Jr.'s new song.
Yeah.
Way better. And now, for my next homework, I have to finish my homework, I guess. Maybe because we'll be together this weekend. Maybe we'll post an update.
Way more
dreaming my dreams with you. Way more blues. I'm a rambling man. And Mamas, don't let your. Oh, you told me that. That's a good one. I don't know if that's part of my homework though.
No, the homework is just Waylon Blues and Dreaming My Dreams with You.
All right, so I got 2 more: Dreaming My Dreams with You and Way More Blues. So thank you everyone for listening.
You also have to listen to the full Paramore album.
Oh, this is why. And listen, everyone, stay tuned. Stay tuned
album of the year.
Stay tuned on Monday. We have a classic album review coming up, Hybrid Theory for Linkin Park.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that.
Matthew's more excited than me.
Listen to all of our music. Listen to Drinkin In Work. It's our newest single. Go check out Haha Charade. Go check out Bees
at Silk
City at 4th and Spring Garden. And
Philadelphia, not South Philadelphia.
And we are on all platforms now. Everything.
Podcast is on our platforms, so is our music. So we're easy to find. We're on Google as well. Just Google us. We pop up.
Yep.
Everyone take care of yourselves.
Like and subscribe.